This is a demonstration video for the Forest Manufacturing Model 2054 vertical blade traveling table bandsaw. This is a large, high-speed bandsaw suitable for cutting materials like foams, insulation, plastic. The machine here was built specifically for a customer cutting very large plastic pipe. This customer is cutting plastic pipe, comes in lots of varieties. This one will be cutting double wall corrugated high density polyethylene drainage pipe. So it's not pressure rated pipe. It's large, but it's relatively easy to cut, relatively. So when I approach a project like this, I have two sub-projects. The first is actually cutting the material, the bandsaw part. The second part is handling the material, presenting the material to the blade to be cut. For cutting the material, the basic machine, this model 2054, again, vertical blade, high speed, we're running a blade speed of about 3,000 feet per minute. The blade is supported on four 20-inch diameter wheels. These are rubber tired crowned wheels, running a blade speed of about 3,000 feet per minute. On other versions, we do have the option to add a variable speed blade drive, but for what this customer is doing, 3,000 works great. Dimensionally, the 2054 we call it, is our big boy. So this one has, honestly I don't remember the exact dimensions, but I believe I've got about 7 feet of vertical working blade length. This upper blade guide and guard has an adjustable height. You've got a crank there, you just turn the crank, it goes up and down. The idea being you minimize the exposed or working portion of the blade, gives you a smaller free blade length and it's a more stable cut, and also protects the part of the blade that's not being used to cut the workpiece. The 2054, I've got room on this machine to customize the dimensions to suit. So the vertical and horizontal throat are your main variables on this saw. Again, my customer's cutting very large pipe, so very large bandsaw. It does break down for shipping. You might be able to see here, we have a flange connection right here between the upper portion of the saw and the lower portion. That is a bolted flange connection with bulleted piloting pins. So for shipping, because I don't want to ship something this tall, we will unbolt the top from the bottom to ship it low and separate. Come time to reassemble it, we've got these bullet nose pins so you can set the top back in position and know it's going back in exactly the right place. So that's the sawing part. Minor detail, blade drive motor in this case is a 5 horsepower, 3-phase motor. Handling the workpiece. Most of the time on our machines, we move the workpiece to make the cut. So the saw stays still and the workpiece moves into. So we're doing it here in the most obvious manner, having a big traveling table. Again, the table is sized to suit. And here's where this saw gets a little interesting. Most of my machines and most large material processing machines you'll see, they're moving the workpiece into the saw using some kind of elevated rails. And I've got other videos, look for anything on my model, any of my other Model 2054 or any of my 236 heavy videos. We'll have a set of elevated rails and the table rolls on those rails. The advantage of that, it gives you a guaranteed smooth rolling surface. And if you're indifferent to the conditions of your shop, you could have a shop with a dirt floor and those rails with the aid of jack stands can be leveled and trued up such that you can get a straight, smooth cut, not have to worry about the conditions of your shop. The downside of the rails are big. So this machine I think has like a 9 or 10 foot table travel. So if the table's got a 9 foot travel and it's like 9-10 foot deep, then your rails just became like 19 to 20 foot long. They're big. They chew up a lot of real estate. You're either going to bang your knee into them or back a fork truck into them and screw up the alignment. This machine's built differently. This machine, effectively, the table is rolling on the ground. So where I'm walking right now, I would normally have rails I have to be stepping over, on, or around. I've just got the floor. Now I do have here on the floor a couple of pair of angle iron, that serve as guide tracks. They're supplementary guide tracks. The whole table assembly here is rolling on the ground, except for 4 of the wheels, which are rolling on these guide tracks to make sure you're going in a straight line. Those wind up anchored to the ground, but then I can have all this space. So I'm not chewing up a lot of real estate with rails when I don't need to be. Another advantage of this is I can add on auxiliary tables. So the basic machine here has a rectangular table. I also have, though, these what I call wing tables. So you can have these supplementary tables, make the table wider. In this case, the customer's got some long lengths of pipe that he wants to cut on a 45-degree angle. So when he wants to fully support these, we just roll up these wing tables, clips onto the main table, and now I've got an oversized table. So I can do this here, like with the 45-degree, or I can extend the table out to the right, however far I need to be, to support their longest work pieces. When you don't need these, you just unclip them, roll them outside or wherever so they're not in your way. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. There's always a trade-off. The downside here is your floor needs to be in pretty good condition. If you have just a really lumpy concrete floor or even a dirt floor, this is not going to work for you. And you have to keep your floor kind of sort of clean. Since these hard casters are rolling on the floor, if you have debris, nuts, bolts, cables, whatever, if you try and roll over those, it's going to cause difficulty. It may stop the machine, they may roll over them and just give you a bumpy cut. So there is a trade-off. But for customers cutting very large parts who don't always need the very large table, or who don't want the rails taking up a lot of their space, this is a great option. So I've got a bandsaw, I've got a table. The customers for this machine, and most of my customers on this scale of saw, the workpiece is about 2,000 pounds, or up to about 2,000 pounds. You don't want to have to manually push the table, but you can. So this machine, first off, the automatic control scheme. This has our enhanced controls, so I control the blade start and stop, blade tension from the control panel, table forward, reverse, table stop. I control the table speed 2 different ways. For the forward direction, when you're making a cut, you're going to wind up moving the table less than full speed. Let's say you're going to be advancing the table at 0.1, 0.2 inches per second to make the cut. On the return stroke, after you've made the cut and you're resetting the table to the home position, you're never going to do anything other than full speed. So I give you one speed control for forward, which you'll fine tune to suit your cut, and a second speed control to return to the home position. And that's going to be just left at full speed. This machine has actually 2 sets of controls. So I've got the full set of controls here on the panel face, and I've got this remote control pendant here, which duplicates the control. I can stop the saw, run the table forward, reverse, stop it of course, and I've got a little speed control here on the bottom so I can control the table speed. Of course, I was playing around with this before, making some test cuts. I'll give you a quick demonstration of how that works. For the forward direction, think about how to best present this. Let's do reverse first. Table reverse, I've got it set at 100%. I hit the reverse button, let go, and it's going to go back to the home position either until I hit the table stop button or until it hits the end of travel. Table forward direction. If you were just moving the table to position it prior to a cut, press and hold the table forward button. It'll start moving. You can adjust the speed. That's pretty slow right now. By the way, the maximum table speed on this is currently programmed at 2 inches per second. The adjustment range is like 50 to 1, so I can adjust it faster. If I release, it stops. The idea there is if you're positioning the workpiece, you don't want to have it turn on and off and just continue going. Or if I'm going to make a cut if I make a cut, I'll start the saw, blade starts up. If I now press the table forward button, the table is going to advance on its own to make that cut. It'll advance all the way until it hits the end of its stroke. Then it automatically turns off the table drive and the blade motor drive. The thinking is, if you're positioning the workpiece, let me bring it back a bit. If you're setting up for a cut, and you're advancing the workpiece just to prepare for the cut, but you're not yet running the saw blade, I don't want you inadvertently running the workpiece into the saw blade if the blade is not running. Hence, the press and release. If the saw blade is running, then you can press the forward button once and it'll advance to make the cut. Another fun feature, you don't always want to have to use the table drive. Maybe the power is out, maybe you need to do a maintenance procedure. This machine includes a clutch. So I can release the clutch, or the handle there. Now I can move the table manually. And it's really not that bad. You can move it pretty easily. To re-engage the clutch, bring the lever back, move it in either direction. It'll re-engage. So does it actually cut anything? Of course it does. Going to position the workpiece. What I had today, this is a product brought in by a potential customer. It's a urethane tooling board. I believe this is about 18 pound per cubic foot urethane tooling board. Quite hard, quite hard. It's not just, it's foam, but it's not just light and fluffy foam. It's serious foam. Obviously, you don't need a saw this size to cut this small block, but need something to do. I need to do a test cut on this material, and I need to show off my new toy. So, start the saw. When I'm cutting something for the first time, I'll usually start by reducing the table speed to 0 using this here. Then I'll press the table forward button. The table drive is now engaged, but the speed is set at 0. And so I will slowly increase the table speed and watch how the saw cuts the material. So far so good. Give a little more speed. Taking it fine. No trouble at all. No trouble at all. Hits into travel, everything stops automatically. Tough stuff. So, I can make cuts on 1 cubic foot parts, or we can make cuts on, I think, 6 or 7 foot diameter pipe with this machine. This is an option for your table drive. You can run the table drive like this on the floor, or you can use our conventional method, which runs the table drive on the elevated rails. If you have any questions or have a project for a large bandsaw you'd like to discuss, please feel free to call or email us here at Forest Manufacturing. I thank you for your time.